But first, the Obama campaign, with much ceremony, has now announced what they consider to be their closing argument. This is not a joke. You might think it is. They have a 2-minute ad. It is airing on TV in New Hampshire, Virginia, Florida, Ohio, Iowa, Nevada, and Colorado. And it's interesting that those appear to be the states on which President Obama is concentrating his attention. No North Carolina, no Missouri, no, for that matter, Wisconsin, or Michigan, or Pennsylvania, states that polls indicate are still very close and very much in play. But President Obama concentrating on the states I just mentioned with an ad that features the president looking directly at the camera, sitting there in his very neat, crisp jacket and tie, and saying this. And he's saying this, according to our... do you need to turn the crank, Jeremy? Crank up the computer there. This is absurd. I mean, here we are trying to give the president a fair shot because we believe in America where everybody plays by the same set of rules and everybody gets a fair shot. Okay, and we didn't put in the cheesy music. The Obama campaign did. Here it is.
During the last weeks of this campaign, there will be debates, speeches, and more ads. But if I could sit down with you in your living room or around the kitchen table, here's what I'd say. When I took office, we were losing nearly 800,000 jobs a month, and we're mired in a rut. Today, I believe that as a nation, we are moving forward again. But we have much more to do to get folks back to work and make the middle class secure again. Now, Governor Romney believes that with even bigger tax cuts for the wealthy and fewer regulations on Wall Street, all of us will prosper. In other words, he doubled down on the same trickle-down policies that led to the crisis in the first place.
Okay, is that true? That's what President Romney to be, what Governor Romney says is, I want to double down and triple down on the same trickle-down policies that got us into trouble in the first place. I have a new column that's going up on Daily Beast, and I will argue it passionately. If you want to repeat the policy mistakes of the Bush administration, and there were some. Bush administration very far from perfect. But what were the big mistakes of the Bush administration? The biggest economic mistakes of the Bush administration by far were increasing spending and reducing tax revenue. And he reduced tax revenue as a percentage of the gross domestic product because we had a growing economy through most of the Bush administration. So what has the Obama administration done? Increased spending and reduced tax revenue. Tax revenue went down to an all-time post-war low under Barack Obama in 2010. Can't blame that on Bush. But Obama is the one who took us back to the failed policies of the Bush administration. Romney's promising something else. But here's what the president is promising in his closing argument, cheesy music and all.
So what's my plan? First, we create 1 million new manufacturing jobs and help businesses double their exports.
Good idea.
Give tax breaks to companies that invest in America, not that ship jobs overseas. Second, we cut our oil imports in half and produce more American-made energy.
Good idea.
Oil, clean coal, natural gas, and new resources like wind, solar, and biofuels, all while doubling the fuel efficiency of cars and trucks.
Okay, see, the president's going to do all this. We're going to cut our imports in half. By the way, it's because of the natural gas, because of the new development of energy here, including fracking, that we have made some progress in terms of energy independence. But it's been in spite of, not because of the administration. Then he goes on to talk about how he's going to prepare people for all these new jobs.
Third, we ensure that we maintain the best workforce in the world by preparing 100,000 additional math and science teachers, training 2 million Americans with the job skills they need at our community colleges, cutting the growth of tuition in half, and expanding student aid so more Americans can afford it. Fourth, a balanced plan to reduce our deficit by $4 trillion over the next decade. On top of the trillion in spending we've already cut, I'd ask the wealthy to pay a little more. And as we end the war in Afghanistan, let's apply half the savings to pay down our debt and use the rest for some nation building right here at home.
Okay, this is amazing. The trillion we've already cut, Where has any money been cut? Spending has gone up every single year of the Obama administration. And spending has gone up extraordinarily dramatically as a percentage of GDP. This is all unprecedented. And the idea that we've cut spending, the president is actually talking in his closing arguments on top of the trillion we've already cut. Yeah, he really had to fight for those budget cuts. Is he talking about the sequestration, the fiscal cliff that we're supposed to fall off? Those are the two words that President Obama doesn't want you to even hear. So I'm going to say it again. Fiscal cliff, right? We are facing not happy days are here again. We're facing being pushed back into a recession. And the president is doing absolutely nothing about it except telling grotesque fairy tales and lies.